Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olive, and today's session is a fairly playful yoga class where we're going to be exploring transitions between poses, but also equally having the opportunity to just hold and breathe in certain poses. So in terms of equipment, all you're going to need is yourself, your yoga mat, and a yoga block. So grab your equipment and I will see you standing up. Let's warm ourselves up before we get into our main flow. So standing with your feet about hip distance apart, we're going to go through some arm circles. So start by reaching your left arm forwards and your right arm back, and we're basically just going to swap places with them. So just start to swing them down and up. Now you can start to bring in some momentum into the legs, adding a bit of a bounce. And you might find that your torso starts to rotate as the arms swing. You might find that the hands brush against your thighs. And you could start to play around with how quick or how slow you start to move the arms. So maybe it's quick to go up and then really slow to go down, and just kind of like switch between the two. Or again, find, as always, movement that works for your body, depending on where you feel there's areas that you want to mobilize more or less. Okay, and then tone it down, release, shake it all out. Okay, we're going to make our way to the top of our mat if we're not there already. And we're going to do some Jefferson curls to warm up through the spine with a slight added extra add-on. So, from standing, you're going to take your hands by your side, and we're just going to start to squeeze our shoulder blades together, lift the chest, have a little bend in the legs and lean back ever so slightly. Tilt the head maybe towards the ceiling. And then back to your neutral position. Draw the chin down to the chest. And then let the rest of the spine follow. So upper back, think about rolling the shoulders inwards. Lowering through flexion into the mid-spine, into the lower spine, until the fingers come down towards the ground. Now your legs are either bent or straight, doesn't really matter. But we're going to come up the same way, through slowly lifting through the spine. So it goes lower spine, mid-spine, upper spine, to neck, roll the shoulders down, squeeze shoulder blades together, leaning back. And just repeating this a couple more times. Again, try to incrementally go through the segments of your spine at your own kind of pace. Maybe you play around with having the legs straight or having the legs bent. There's no obviously like desired way how to do this, just see how your body feels. Let's just go one more time. But this time when we end in that forward fold, take the hands down to the ground and we're going to walk it all the way back into our downward facing dog and have a little bit of a pedal out through the feet here. Maybe a shake through the head. You could have a couple of movements backwards and forwards from downward dog to plank. Just warming up into the shoulders a little bit more. The hips, whatever feels good. Okay. Take it down into your tabletop position. Let's have a little look at our wrists. So what we're going to do is flip our hands upside down, turning the fingers to face one another, and give the fingers a little bit of a wriggle to start with, a bit weird. And from here, what we are going to do is bend into the elbows, bring the chest towards the hands, loading into the wrists in a slightly different position than perhaps what we're used to loading into them too. Okay. And flip them back over, fingertips facing 12 o'clock. Maybe have a little wriggle side to side. Create some circles. Okay. And then from here, let's come down onto our belly and have a little bit of time working into our posterior chain. So from the fingertips all the way down to the heels. So if you untuck the toes, take your forehead to the ground, you're going to extend both arms above your head, palms facing one another. We're going to do some diagonal lifts here. So forehead is going to press to the ground, and on your next inhale, lift both your right arm and your left leg up and off the floor. Think about lifting from the hip socket and from the shoulder socket. So we're not just bending the knee or bending the elbow. One more breath here. And then release down. Give your hips a little rock. Okay, second side. Left arm, right leg lifts up and off the ground. We're not looking to go for height. We're looking for activation from the fingertip down to the heel. One more breath. And release. Hips, give them a little shake, side to side. I'm going to do it one more time each side. So, when you're ready, right arm, left leg, find the lift. Keep pressing your forehead down into the ground. Feeling the engagement, the glute, the hamstring, the calf, the shoulder. And release. Last time, left arm, right leg, lifting, engaging. Feeling the muscles of the erectors, or the erector muscles of the spine firing up. And release. Give the hips a little wriggle. Take the hands underneath your shoulders. Let's tuck the toes. Push back into tabletop. Walk it all the way back towards your mat and flick onto the soles of the feet, coming into your squat position. And let's have a little move. Side to side. Maybe gently rocking and opening out the knees into some external rotation, whatever feels good. Okay, lovely. And then we're going to change the rotation of our hips here. So be focusing on opening or external rotation. Now we're going to take it inwards, so coming into internal rotation. So with your right knee, you might need to rock onto the balls of your feet. You're going to drop that knee inwards towards the ground. Peel it back out, left knee drops in, and take it back out. You can just start to maneuver yourself through this position. Maybe you're low to the ground, or maybe you lift your hips up a little bit higher. But again, just focusing in on our internal rotation. Beautiful. Okay. And take it all the way back into your squat. Beautiful. From here, up into a halfway lift position. Turn the toes to face 12 o'clock. Hands about mid-shin. Lift your hips. Press through the hands, gazing forward. So your shoulders are kind of level with your hips. And from here, let's see if we can find some active engagement from the muscles. So in this halfway lift position, start to float the arms out by your side, pressing down into the heels, using hamstrings, bracing through the core, squeezing shoulder blades, finding that engagement into the upper body. Push through your feet all the way back up and release. So, to get to the top of our mat, you're going to do some hamstring engagement. You're going to step your right heel forwards ever so slightly. The toes of the right leg are lifted. We're going to bend both knees as we press our hips backwards. So bend the legs so you can drive that heel into the ground. You're going to sweep the arms down and come to standing. Step the left heel forwards. Hinge, press, sweep. Okay, keep repeating until you get to the top of your mat. Try to find an even number of steps on each leg. Focusing again and feeling that engagement in your posterior chain. And when you get to the top, have a little shake. Alrighty, so warm up done. Let's come into our first flow. You're going to shift the weight onto your right leg. Let's take an inhale, lift the left leg up. And from here, we're coming into standing figure 4. Take your hands wherever. You're going to think about drawing your left ankle inwards and then match the ankle on top of the right knee. We're going to be here just for a couple of moments because we're going to play around with the transition. But just to get acquainted with the pose, maybe start to bend into the right leg a little bit more. See what kind of feedback you get from the body. Okay. From here, we're going to take it into a baby dragon squat. So return back to standing, lift that left knee up. You're going to scoop this knee, this hip, out towards the left-hand side. And see if you can land the left foot behind you to about 4 o'clock. So really reaching away, leg is straight. And we can kind of rock and play here. Maybe you drop down onto your knee. Maybe the arms come down to the floor. Okay, now 2 more times we're going to play with this transition. From the baby dragon squat, take it up, forwards into our figure four. Again, hands can go wherever, to the chest, into a twist, to the ground. That's where I was heading. And take it back up, out to the dragon squat when you're ready. And seeing and playing around with the movement, see how the manipulation of your limbs affects how you experience a pose. Let's go one more time. Bring it forwards, standing figure four. Maybe even play around with like balancing on just to the balls of the right foot. And final time, lift, scoop round, step it back, baby dragon squat. Okay, when you're ready, scoop it all the way forwards. This time, plant that left foot down. Inhale, reach both arms up and above your head. You're going to interlace the fingers and release the index finger. I'm just going to start to wave side to side, seeing how it feels, warming up through the body. Stop in the middle, take an inhale, exhale, bend to the right. You can keep the hands gripped, or you can drop your right hand down. Breathing, holding here. Really try to ground down through the left leg. We'll take one more breath. Inhale, come all the way back through to center. Hands travel down towards the chest. Inhale to lift up your left leg. Now we're going to step it back nice and slow into a high lunge. So draw the chest forwards. Extend your left leg behind you, toes to the ground. Inhale, moving all the way up. High lunge. Okay, we're going to play around here with high lunge to low lunge. Inhale, start to slowly lower back knee to the ground. Then you're going to cactus your arms. Exhale to press back up, extending arms overhead. And we're just going to repeat this a couple times, lowering and extending. But you can start to play around with other variations into the arms, into the legs. Maybe you tip forwards with the chest, arms could reach behind, or you could straighten up the front leg as you come all the way up. Maybe you twist side to side, creating a different position for the torso, for the shoulders, wherever it might be, or loading into the front leg more, or into the back leg. See where your body, where your creativity takes you. Get no right or wrong, there's always room to play. And when you're ready, coming into a little bit of stillness, returning back to high lunge. And we're going to straighten out the front leg, drop the back heel down, facing either 90 degrees or inwards ever so slightly. We're going to open up the hands, let them face the same way as your chest. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, push your hips behind you towards the back of your mat and keep reaching forwards with your right hand. So opposing directions, behind and forwards. When you feel like you can't reach anymore, take the right hand down towards right leg or the floor or a block, gazing up towards your left hand. Take a moment to find your stability here, starting with the feet, and then moving up towards the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the hands. What I like to really sort of engage here is my right thigh. So think about pulling up from that kneecap, feeling that engagement into my quad. Let's go one more breath here. Okay. When you're ready, have a little look down towards the right foot. We'll take a moment in downward dog. So bend into the right leg, hands to the ground, step behind you, downward facing dog. Have a little wriggle into the legs, a little pedal into the feet. And then looking forwards, walking yourself all the way back to the top of your mat. And then roll all the way up the spine like we did in that Jefferson curl. Coming to the top and having a wriggle out. Beautiful. Okay, let's try the other side. So, balancing onto the left leg. Let's lift up the right knee or the right leg. Tip that foot inwards. Standing figure four to start with. Mat on top of the left knee. Hands travel wherever. See how this pose feels on this side. And then unravel yourself, come all the way up. Scoop the knee out towards the right hand side behind you, landing to about 8 o'clock. Leg is straight, extended away, and play around here. Coming down, moving up, whatever feels good. Hands go wherever. And then when you're ready, scoop it forwards, and back to standing figure 4. Maybe you notice a difference between sides. One is easier to balance on than the other. Then let's scoop it behind us again. Land it behind, play around. Baby dragon squat. Where is it taking you? How are the legs? How's the body feeling? And all the way back, standing figure 4. We're going to go for that transition just one more time. So again, explore the hand position. Where would you like to take it? And final time, all the way around. Baby dragon squat. Getting acquainted with the legs. Okay, when you're ready, transition all the way back. This time right foot lands down. Inhale, sweep your hands up. Interlace the fingers, waving yourself side to side. Moving through torso and hips. Pause in the middle, inhale. Exhale, bend to the left. Again, you can drop your left hand down if you would like. Still think about rooting down into that right foot. So really pressing it through the floor. So we still feel relatively sort of balanced in the body, despite the body weight being tipped in one direction. Let's go one more breath. And then bring it all the way back through, just standing. Okay, taking hands to your chest. There's a bit of brain fog there, hence the awkward cut, I'm sorry. We are going to take an inhale and bring the right knee up towards our chest. We're coming into our high lunge again. So nice and slow, hinge forwards. Extend that leg behind you, toes land to the ground. Think about distributing the weight across a rectangle, sweep the arms above the head. And we're going to play around, transition here to low lunge. Slowly bringing down, drop the arms, think about creating a cactus shape. And then press back up, extend overhead. Again, we're just going to repeat this a couple times. See where the body goes, see what kind of shapes it wants to create. Do you want to hinge forwards with the chest, arms reaching behind, or press the hips back? Again, really bend in and out of the front leg. Where would you like to take it? Any twists? Any other things that I perhaps haven't mentioned and you're like, damn, I want to go there? Okay, take it all the way back, high lunge. Straight in the front leg. Drop your back heel down towards the ground. Again, either 90 degrees or 45 degrees. Inhale, open your hands, palms face the same way as your chest. Reach forwards with your left hand, push your hips back. Keep reaching, keep extending. And when you can't anymore, let your hands switch. Reaching for the left leg, extending out of your right arm. And thinking about turning, rotating through the chest. We're going to hold, we're going to breathe here. Let's go one more breath. And then look towards the ground, bend into that leg. Hands come down to the floor, step back into your downward facing dog. Give the hips a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a pedal. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to change the angle and then we're going to come into our next sequence. So when you're ready, roll your shoulders over your wrists, coming into a plank position, knees lowered down to the ground. We're going to step that left leg or the left foot behind the right foot. Turn our hips to face the right hand side, peeling open our top hand, which is the left hand. So we're in gate pose right now. We're going to pause here. And we're going to start by just moving that top hand, so the left hand, up and over the head, finding some circular movements. And then with the circular movement, the next time the left hand goes towards the left hips, pull yourself all the way up. This time left hand down, and now the right hand is that primary mover. You can just start to switch between sides. Seeing how the arms can guide the rest of the spine and the body. Maybe even lifting up a leg. Or seeing what other shapes you would like to create. Any twists, any reaches, a partridge pose, catching the foot behind you, or just holding it still. Okay. Now bring it all the way back down to our original position, right hand to the floor, left arm up. We're going to transition to pigeon. So left hand comes next to the right. We swivel our hips to the ground and just scooch that right knee closer in, landing it in between, slide the back leg away, and we're into our pigeon pose. So maybe you have a block underneath your butt. We could stay upright, or we can walk the hands further away, sort of extending out of the shoulders, or drop down to forearms, or keep folding, maybe the forehead comes towards the ground. Wherever you are, let's just hold, exist, be in this pose. Listen to the feedback that your body is giving you here. What can you notice? Okay, let's take 2 more breaths. And then wherever you may be, start to walk yourself all the way up so the hands are creeping in closer. We're going to tuck the toe off the left leg and we're going to switch back into our tabletop. So, in your tabletop, push through the hands, coming all the way up into an upright position. We're going to have a play with some camel into thread the needle. So you're going to rotate your chest towards the right hand side. Right hand reaches for right heel with the left arm reaching up and over. And then from here, pop yourself forwards, left hand towards the ground, and you're going to threadle the right hand behind your left wrist, coming down towards the floor. And then we switch, rotate back open, right hand to heel, left hand reaching up and over. So, sort of just flowing between these 2 poses again, seeing how it feels, moving in the body. Feel free to, again, pause in certain points. If you're really enjoying being down in the shoulder stretch. We're really enjoying exploring camel. Beautiful. Okay. And when you're ready, wherever you are, meet me back into your tabletop position. Untuck the toes as you sit back, swivel the legs forwards. And we're going to take ourselves into a forward fold. So, today, what we're going to do is start by bending the legs. Either catch the feet on the outside or index and middle finger wrap around your big toes. Now you're going to keep the grip around the feet. And we're going to start to slowly shuffle our butt backwards. Get a little bit of movement into our QL. And we just see where we end up. Maybe the legs are still bent, that's fine. Or maybe we find ourselves walking all the way backwards and still having the grip with the legs straight. Again, just see where you end up and then begin your forward fold. Finding the breath, moving down into the back, either side of the spine. Beautiful. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then slowly release, coming all the way up. Let's transition to downward dog one more time and go through our final sequence. So cross the legs over, hands to the ground, step back into your downward dog. Have a little wriggle into your feet, a little shake into your head, a little nod. Okay, I'm going to switch direction. Right, when you're ready, inhale, roll forwards, shoulders over the wrists, stacking the body in your plank, and then knees to the ground. You're going to step the right foot behind the left, roll your hips open towards the right hand side as we peel that right arm open. Okay, let's start with those sweeps. Right arm up and over the head, moving through that shoulder joint, through the rotation of the chest. And then push through, pull it all the way up. So right hand lands, and now left arm's the primary mover. And we can just start to, again, as always, switch between the two, like we did on the previous side, previous bit of movement. Maybe play around with lifting the right leg, different shapes. Where do you want to take it? Beautiful. Reach, twist, fold, all these different variables. Okay, let's bring it back to our original position. Left hand to the ground, right arm reaching up. And then we're going to take right hand down, turn the hips to face the floor. Left knee scooches in closer as we take pigeon pose. So slide that back leg away. Use the support of the block or a pillow if you would like. And come down into your pigeon pose as much as you want to. So again, we're just going to hold, we're just going to breathe here. Let the head drop down, let it relax. Breathing into the upper back, breathing into the body here. Where can you observe the breath? Or any tension being held in the muscles, any stiffness in the joints. Okay, let's go one more breath. And then press yourself all the way up. From here, push into the hands, tuck the right toes, and step it back onto your tabletop. Pushing through the hands, elevating all the way up. Okay, dancing camel and tabletop. Or thread the needle on the other side. Sweep the arms round to the left. Left hand, left heel, right arm reaches up and over. As you peel forwards, right hand to the ground, threading the needle. Left shoulder to the floor. And then again, open, twist into your camel pose. Think about pushing the hips forwards. Finding the engagement of the body in that position. Down into the core, into the glutes, into the hamstrings. Again, just maneuvering between the two at your own pace. Pause where you feel happy. Okay. Now when you're ready, meet me back into tabletop. Let's swivel the legs round towards the mat, or towards the front. Have your yoga block handy, and we're going to lower down and take ourselves into supported bridge. So let's take hands just below the knees, start to roll, lean away, arms go straight, and then when you start to lose the grip, can you come down with control? Landing on the head, bring the feet in a little bit closer, grab your block, let's lift the hips up and place a block just above our glutes, so down into the sacrum. You can adjust the height of the block. There's like 3 different heights. See what suits you most. And then we're going to soften and come down. You can rest your arms by your side. Maybe extend them above your head. And let's just hold and breathe here for a moment. Feeling the breath moving into the chest. Into the belly. Into the rib cage, and into the back. Okay, let's finish off with just a couple of cool down poses on our back. So lift the hips up, slide the block out, and just release by hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Okay, now you're going to straighten that right leg and hook the left foot underneath the right knee. And drop both knees down towards the right hand side. So reaching your left arm away from you. Your right hand can be on the body or the ground. And just finding the breath here. Finding the twist into the upper portion of our spine. Beautiful. Take it back to the middle, swap the legs over, so left leg straight, hook the right foot under. Again, into your twist. Right arm reaching away. Beautiful. Okay, when you're ready, take it all the way back to the middle and let's finish off with a happy baby. So knees towards the chest, feet up to the ceiling, hook onto the toes, the ankles, the calves, the thighs, whatever. And just let yourself maybe rock side to side. You can straighten out the legs, play around with the shape that they're creating. Okay. Now just release the feet down. If you would like to take Shavasana now, feel free to pause the video, set a 5-minute timer for yourself, just lie and experience some stillness after practice. But if you're happy to close class with me, hug the knees in, rock up and down or roll over to one side, bringing yourself up and out of the pose into a seated position. Maybe close down the eyes for a moment, just observing the breath, observing the body, or perhaps your current headspace. And when you're ready to come back, hands together, rub the palms, warm them up. Take your hands over your eyes. And come back to your space when you're ready. So thank you for practicing with me. I really, really hope you enjoyed and experienced some lovely playful energy and approaches to some traditional yoga asanas. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know about future videos and suggestions. I will happily listen to them and create these for you. And if you want to continue supporting my channel, I have a GoFundMe link in my bio. So yeah, I really appreciate any help that you can give so that I can continue creating these videos for everyone. But yeah, alright, I'll see you next time. Bye!